Rob Gronkowski looks like he's back to his old self with 4 touchdown catches this season. But when talking with Peyton and Eli Manning last night, he had a surprising admission about how he prepares. Take a listen.
My teammate Cam Brait just asked me the other day. He goes, "Rob, I have a serious question." He goes, "Do you ever watch film?" And I said, "No, I don't. I just run by guys. If I'm feeling good, I'm feeling good." So I don't know how to answer that, Eli. I don't watch film, but I do watch film when the team is showing it. I actually do go up to Tom because I know Tom watches 40 hours of film a week. I go, "Tom, who's covering me this week? What type of coverages are they doing?"
Very curious, Shannon. Is he being serious or silly here?
Silly. And then he might be, but it's hard for me to believe. Skip, he says, well, what coverage is this? Well, you have to understand, study film to know what coverage it is. I'm sure Tom Brady is not telling you, hey, Gronk, it's cover 3. It's probably going to get cover 3. Or we're going to probably get cover 5. Or we're probably going to get cover 6. Or we're going to get quarters. I don't believe that. I don't believe Tom is telling him, okay, it's going to be cloud in this situation. There are certain nuances that one would need to understand. It's just like that play that he scored that touchdown on against that. He had to watch film to know that coverage. This is what I'm going to do.
You're talking about Donovan Wilson blitz.
Donovan Wilson blitz and D. Long's playing outside what we call a bare stretch. Mm-hmm. So he had to have watched film to know that situation. Okay, fine. And to play for Coach Belichick, I just find it very, very hard to believe that he played, 7, 8, 9 years for Coach Belichick, studied no film, and went out there and played it. Skip, I think that sounds good. Skip, we've all been in college. And the person tells us, man, I ain't studied not one time for this week. I just partied all week, and they aced the test. Lo and behold, they had been studied. They might have not studied the night before, but they had been studying the whole week leading up to the test. It just sounds better. It gives it more, man, you think Gronk an all-century tight end, and he doesn't study film. I just don't believe it. It could be true, but I don't believe it. Knowing, having played that position, having to understand the nuances of what defenses are trying to do, Skip, down and distance, the coverages they're going to play, formationally, the coverages they're going to play, situation in the game, what they're going to do. Skip, you need to know all of that. They identify the mic. Okay, we got those 5 down guys and the mic. Okay, it's not scat protection. It's going to, instead of taking one guy to make me hot, it's going to take 2. Mm-hmm. How would I know that, Skip, if I don't study tape? And Coach Belichick strikes me as a guy kind of like Dan Reeves and Mike Shanahan, my former coaches at Denver, Skip. They will quiz you. 84, what you got on this? Well, if you got this right, but if they do that, what are you going to do? Well, what happens if we check the blue Detroit?
You better do your homework.
Exactly. Yep. So, Skip, I just find it hard to believe. And everything Gronk said could be true. But I think Gronk is playing into the character of Gronk, a big, fun-loving guy, likes to party, likes to have a good time, and I think he's playing to that character. I just find it very hard to believe, having played this game at a super high level, that you can do that without studying tape.
So you, Mr. Sharp, are in the Hall of Fame as a tight end.
I am.
So nobody knows the position any better than Shannon Sharp knows the position.
Yeah, I like to think I know that position.
Did you study tape while you played for Denver and Baltimore?
Yes.
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 Did you ever study tape at home at night?
All the effing
All
time.
the time.
Yes.
And it drove you out of the game.
Yes.
You finally couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you knew that was the price that had to be paid to play at the level you played at, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's from a Hall of Fame tight end who has gotten to know a little bit. You've sat with Gronk before, and yet you've awarded him with the highest honor you could award somebody. You have called him the GOAT tight end,
Yes, I do believe that he is, yes.
The best tight end there ever was. Okay, so before I answer this question, I ask you one. Who now, to my eye, has the most commercials on national TV? What professional athlete has the most commercials? I think it's Rob Gronkowski. I do believe it because every time I look up, there's another new one for another product.
Yep.
I know Brady's sort of gotten in the commercial game post-Belichick, right?
Yes.
But I think Gronk is leading the league in commercials made because everybody loves the Gronk character that you referred to.
Yes.
The image that he has made of the big, silly, goofy, fun-loving
college frat type of a guy.
Let's party. Let's play football and party.
Right.
That's not what is happening. Because what was the book on Gronk for all those years under Belichick and with Brady? savant.
Yes.
That nobody practices harder. Nobody has a higher football IQ than Gronk. Obviously, Brady's is up there,
Right.
but for that position,
Correct.
that's all I ever heard from everybody inside the Patriots, coaches who had coached there that I got to know.
Yes.
Oh, do not underestimate that man's command of defenses.
Right.
That he gets it, knows it, sees it, and
Right.
studies it just as hard as Brady studies it. So I just happened to be watching that last night because I'm sort of in awe of that new way to comment on Monday Night Football.
Right.
And by the way, Eli and Peyton are great. They're just because they're actually brothers, you know, and
right.
they can play off each other and they can needle each other without the other. I don't know if they get mad off the air,
Right.
but Eli really goes after Peyton and his forehead. And it's funny, but Gronk came on. They just drop in guess, which is a little off-putting for me because, you know, I'm a diehard, and so I need to kind of know play to play what's actually happening in the game.
And that's not what they do, Skip. They got a totally different spin. They're not giving you play
all
by
of a
play.
sudden, Gronk pops up on the screen, and I am all ears. And I forgot about the game and lost a little touch with the game because he lit up their telecast.
Right.
Because that's what he can do. And he was very comfortable, obviously, with the two ex-quarterbacks.
Right.
And he was having a blast.
Right.
And he was taking it a little over the edge into exaggeration because, I'm sorry, I don't believe he never watches film. He tried to add the quick disclaimer. Now, I watch it when the team watches it because you have no choice if you're going to go in the tight end room and they're going to put on tape of various defenders. You have no choice. You're a captive audience, right?
Yeah.
Does he take tape home? I'm going to say yes, that he does, more than you know.
Yes.
And yet it was funny, and he knows he's playing into stereotypes. Well, Tom watches like 40 hours a week.
Right.
And so I just wait and rely on Tom to tell me what the coverage, who's going to guard me, who's going to cover, you know, what the coverage is going to be.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, Skip, was when I got there is that, hell, I'm watching tape like I'm watching a game. I didn't understand how to watch tape because that's not something that we did a lot of in college. So I needed someone to explain to me, so what should I be looking for? Okay, I'm here. What am I looking at? Well, you need to understand, okay, first of all, let's identify the coverage. What coverage do you think it is? Okay, no, it's not that. See these two safeties? Read the triangle. And so, Skip, once I got proficient, now I'm looking at, okay, who's guarding me? Okay, so I'm watching tape. I'm looking at how they're guarding that tight end. Well, Shannon, you're not like that tight end. You can actually run. So they probably let me study Albert Lewis. Let me study James Hasty. Let me study Dale Carter. Guys that's going to actually cover me. But also in the process, Skip, I need to know, what is Tom Brady? What did Tom Brady hate more than anything? When guys make mistakes. Coach Belichick would lose his mind. You make a mistake. So you mean to tell me you can go an entire game without watching any film and go out there and not make a mistake?
Okay.
I just find that hard, Skip. I'm not saying anything is possible, but I find it highly unlikely that is the case.
Okay. So what have we seen from both Brady and Gronkowski at Tampa? We're seeing constant.
They're on the same page.
They're on the same page, but they're also, everything they're doing is to spite Belichick, right?
Yes.
So they're enjoying doing Tommy and Gronky, which is the silliest thing I've ever seen, where they are sitting with these big mirrored shades on. Outside under some little weird fake palm tree with a kiddie pool in front of them, just being silly with each other. Although I thought Tom got a little serious about can he play until he's 50, but it's mostly silliness, right? Okay, what's the message that they're sending? Hey, coach, we could have never done this with you, and look what we're doing now. And guess what? We just won the Super Bowl.
And you can have fun and still win. And Tom, like you mentioned, Tom sitting there with the mirror sunglasses, he got the big floppy bucket hat on. He just kicked back, just having a good old time, knowing good and well that would have never flown.
Never flown. So last night, the underlying message of Gronk with Peyton and Eli is a message back to Belichick. Remember, he quit. He retired. He said, I can't take it anymore. I'm not having any fun.
Yeah, that style wears on you. Absolutely. No question.
All right. And so it's another shot between the lines fired back at Coach Belichick. Look at me now. I'm not even watching any tape, and we're winning. And not only are they winning, but he is flourishing because he's already caught 4 of Tom's 9 touchdown passes. I think we have those.
And we go back to the Super Bowl. He had 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
He had 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Here's so far this year. That's the little rollout pass. And look at the rapport between.
Yeah.
Look how Gronk played that. And that's the play you talked about.
Yes.
D-Law and Donovan Wilson. And then, okay, that's just beasting Gronk. And here he goes again. He gets it. He knows exactly where he's supposed to be.
Right.
And the rapport between those two guys is all-time high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're both the best at what they do.
Right.
And they've been doing it together for so long. You can't tell me they hadn't at least discussed the potential safety blitz off that edge that could leave the defensive end on Gronkowski.
Yeah. And plus, you got to know if you're hot, because there are a lot of situations, I can assure you, in a tight end-driven offense like he had in New England, he was hot an awful lot. I need to know what's going to make me hot. Okay, here it is. I watched this on tape. But to just go in this game, Skip, I don't believe it's possible for a guy to go in the game and be nearly as effective without watching tape.
Okay, do you think they had discussed that potential play? Because that's about as good as it gets.
Yes.